It's always satisfying when you finish a really complicated project like this, and this one is no exception. Let me tell you, if you're going to tackle something as challenging as this one, you better think in advance about how you're going to deal with your frustration. I'm going to take you back in time and we're going to look at the assembly process. But before I do that, I want you to hear one thing. She's wonderfully quiet and she keeps good time. Let's get to it. I'm ready to start installing these shafts. I've already cut this guy to length with a metal cutting blade on my bandsaw. And I also have these lock collars that I use to position the shafts where I want and keep things from sliding around. There are a couple ways to approach this. You could put spacers in your clock to keep things from moving around. You could use these lock collars. And there are also cases like this where I basically made a lock collar out of wood. This guy, that's a set screw there, and then just a pin through the gear to keep it connected. I didn't apply any finish to this piece, but that's just a preference. I think it will be okay with finish on it. Now, these shafts that I took out of the printer have all of these grooves cut in them for these plastic snap rings. I'm actually going to give that a try and see if I can utilize the parts that actually came with the shaft. If I don't like the way it looks, then I'll take them back out, but that'll keep things from sliding around in the clock as well. That's what it did in the printer. So let's give it a try. Before I put the next layer on and start adding more gears, I want to check that each set spins freely. And so I slid one of the main driving gears forward so that the motor is not engaged with this gear set on the side. And I'm just going to rotate it and just make sure it doesn't seem to be binding. So that spins pretty good. It's very free. It doesn't seem to stop suddenly or be grabbing anywhere. And this shaft is not yet fixed at the right height, so they kind of wobble a little bit now, but once I slide through here, that should have the shaft perpendicular to the face, which is where we want it, and hopefully those will spin even better. This is a 24 volt synchronous motor. Basically that means its rotational speed is based on line frequency. Here in the US that's 60 Hertz. The label says that it spins at 2.5 RPM, but that's at 50 Hertz. Here in the US it's actually 60. With that in mind, I designed the gears based on 3 RPM because, you know, I want my clock to keep time. But because I can't just plug this guy into the wall, I also have this transformer. I got this transformer out of a treadmill, and this steps the voltage down for the circuit board in the treadmill. I can wire AC into this guy. I get about 20-21 volts out of this transformer on the output side, and that's what I'm using to power this motor. So that way I can plug it directly into the wall. I want to spec out a motor that's a little bit easier to get. I got this guy on eBay, and I want to see if I can't find something that you can plug directly into 120. But if not, I may just spec out this motor as well as a similar transformer, because you can buy these guys standalone. You don't have to have a treadmill.